the lost planet Tiamat, Noah's flood, and the truth about the artificial moon. The memory of the universe is far deeper than the history humanity has recorded on paper, stone, and tablets. Because while stars are born and fade, planets move along their own orbits, and civilizations rise and disappear, nothing that happens within the universe is ever completely lost. Some events leave traces behind, while others continue to live only in memories, symbols, and stories told in different forms over thousands of years. What I am going to tell you today is not merely the story of a lost planet, but also the story of an esoteric cosmology concerning how its destruction changed the solar system, and how, following that change, the moon came to be positioned in Earth's orbit. It happened approximately 13,000 years ago. In those times, the solar system did not have the structure we know today. Between Mars and Jupiter, in the region we now see as the Asteroid Belt, there was a planet so magnificent that anyone who looked toward the sky would have found it difficult to forget. This enormous planet, known as Tiamat, resembled a deep blue jewel shining in the darkness of space when viewed from afar, because oceans covered nearly its entire surface. Roughly the size of Neptune, 98% of Tiamat's surface was covered with water. At night, the planet's atmosphere took on shades of blue and purple from the light reflected off its oceans, while an ancient civilization continued to exist in crystalline cities built upon its landmasses. Tiamat's value was determined not only by the amount of water it possessed, or by the advancement of the civilizations living upon it. The planet was also like a living archive, regarded as a kind of center of balance in this region of the galaxy, where different forms of life and levels of consciousness could coexist, preserving the knowledge of different civilizations. This was where Tiamat's importance to the Federation of Light, portrayed in alternative cosmology as an alliance formed by advanced civilizations from different regions of the galaxy, came from. Because the loss of the knowledge, life, and genetic diversity contained within the planet's oceans and ancient cities would mean not merely the destruction of a world, but the erasure of an enormous memory on a galactic scale. The value Tiamat carried had attracted the attention not only of forces seeking to protect it, but also of those seeking to seize it. Following the conflicts that had taken place around the Lyra and Vega systems in distant regions of the galaxy, the dark forces consisting of the Reptilian and Archon Alliance had embarked upon a massive expansion aimed at controlling not only the physical resources of star systems, but also the genetic and conscious heritage of the civilizations living within those systems. The genetic diversity, ancient knowledge, and different forms of consciousness hidden within the planet were regarded as a power that had to be captured. While the spiritual wisdom of Lemuria and the technological advancement of Atlantis were still seeking their own balance on Earth, the waves of this war unfolding much farther across the heavens had gradually begun approaching the solar system, and eventually, Tiamat itself had become the target. The arrival of the Dark Alliance happened in silence. They came insidiously, tearing through the fabric of time. With false signals embedded deep within Tiamat's azure depths, they lured the protective fleets of the Federation of Light into a trap. First, unexplained energy fluctuations began appearing in distant regions of Tiamat. Signals whose origins could not be determined began arriving through certain communication channels, and false messages began being transmitted in order to draw the Federation's protective fleets toward other locations. The purpose of these messages was to ensure that the defensive systems surrounding Tiamat would be directed toward specific regions, creating an opening for the actual attack. For a long time, it was believed that this was merely a technical malfunction or the reflection of a minor conflict occurring in distant regions. But once the truth was understood, it became clear that it was already too late. First, several lights appeared in the space surrounding Tiamat. Then their number reached hundreds, and finally, it became clear that these points moving among the stars were actually warships approaching the planet's orbit. As the enormous biosphere ships belonging to the Federation of Light entered Tiamat's orbit, their silver surfaces reflected the light of the stars, and some of them looked less like warships and more like moving cities containing living quarters. Opposing them were terrifying spacecraft with sharp lines, dark surfaces, and designs created entirely for warfare. When the two fleets took their positions around Tiamat, the planet's blue atmosphere suddenly found itself at the center of an enormous battlefield. While the ancient civilization living on Tiamat's surface was still unaware that the fate of their own world would change within a matter of hours. With the first attack, the silence of space transformed into a spectacle of light intense enough to be perceived by the human eye. The waves of light produced by enormous energy weapons, and the ships breaking apart and falling into Tiamat's atmosphere clearly revealed the scale of the battle. Weapons powered by energy sources, described as zero-point energy, plasma cannons, energy fields capable of bending space-time, and thermonuclear attacks that disrupted the integrity of material structures inflicted heavy losses upon the fleets of both sides within a short time. Fragments of ships falling into Tiamat's atmosphere left trails of fire across the sky. As the scale of the battle increased, Tiamat ceased to be merely a battlefield where two fleets were clashing and became the direct target of the war itself. Everything changed when the Dark Alliance realized that it could not win the war. The attacking forces, having lost a large portion of their fleets, appeared to retreat, drawing the attention of the Federation ships toward the outer regions of the orbit, while directing some of their remaining vessels toward Tiamat's atmosphere. The target of these ships was no longer the opposing fleet. It was the planet itself. The purpose of the energy attacks directed towards the depths of Tiamat's oceans and towards the planet's core was far greater than simply destroying the cities on the surface. These attacks, used to disrupt the planet's magnetic field, destabilize its internal pressure, and break apart the physical structure holding Tiamat's own mass together, initiated an irreversible chain reaction within the planet. At that moment, Tiamat's color changed. First, dark purple shadows appeared over the blue oceans. Then the entire atmosphere was illuminated by a white light, and waves of energy rising from the planet's surface illuminated the darkness of space like daylight for several seconds. Circular shockwaves formed across the oceans, the continents shook, and vibrations originating from the planet's interior reached all the way to Earth. As the unimaginable and violent reactions to which the planet had been subjected continued, what everyone feared finally happened. Tiamat broke apart. As the planet's enormous oceans suddenly rose outward beyond the atmosphere, trillions of tons of water, ice, rock, and planetary matter were hurled into the emptiness of space. crystal cities, energy structures, and habitats preserved for thousands of years, fragmented and spread around Tiamat at a speed never before witnessed. The planet that had once shone like a blue jewel at night was no longer a single sphere. In the darkness of space, the remnants of a planet divided into millions, perhaps billions, of fragments drifted. It is precisely this catastrophe that lies at the foundation of the narratives, claiming that today's asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was formed from the fragments of this ancient world. But the true catastrophe that began with Tiamat's death did not end with the planet's destruction, because the enormous mass of water Tiamat possessed had not disappeared. With the planet's fragmentation, it had been scattered into the different gravitational fields of the solar system. Some of it turned into masses of ice and was dragged toward distant regions, while some entered the gravitational fields of planets as dense masses of water. The removal of Tiamat's mass from the system disrupted the delicate gravitational balance previously possessed by the planets around it. Changes were occurring in Mars's orbit. Earth's motion was being affected, and the new gravitational relationships created by the millions of fragments moving throughout the solar system were becoming increasingly complex. With each passing day, a planet had disappeared, but its absence continued to live on throughout the rest of the system. Mars became one of the first major victims of this change because of its proximity to Tiamat. The energy waves generated by the explosion and the planetary matter scattered from the destroyed world severely affected Mars's atmosphere and surface. The regions said to have once supported life were reduced to ruins by successive bombardments. The atmosphere thinned, water sources largely disappeared, and the planet gradually began transforming into a cold, dry, and silent red rock. Tiamat's destruction had not only physically affected Mars, it had also disrupted its orbital balance, and this imbalance was the reason why, in the period that followed, the Federation used enormous asteroids as counterweights to readjust Mars's orbit. But the most severe consequences of all these changes emerged when they reached Earth. When enormous masses of water, torn from Tiamat's fragmented oceans, began entering Earth's gravitational field, the color of the sky changed. The people living on Earth initially thought it was a massive storm, but the movement of the clouds was not normal, and the dark masses seen in the upper layers of the atmosphere did not resemble rain clouds. What was falling from the sky was not rain, but the fragmented oceans of another planet. When the first great masses of water reached the atmosphere, enormous white and blue columns formed in the sky, and then the water began falling onto Earth's surface. The sun became invisible for days, the sky took on shades of purple and black, and walls of water rising above the horizon advanced inland, leaving the people living along the coasts nowhere to escape. As the waters rose, Earth's ancient geography lost its meaning. Plains became seas, valleys filled, rivers overflowed their beds, and even settlements located kilometers inland from the coasts were swallowed by the rising water. The towering structures and technological constructions of Atlantis, once symbols rising toward the sky, became silhouettes beneath the dark water. The temples of Lemuria disappeared beneath the waves, along with the knowledge said to have been preserved for thousands of years. People fled toward the mountains, but the water was not coming only from the coasts. Enormous masses of water, continuing to fall from the atmosphere, were altering the balance of every region of Earth. For thousands of years, humanity would remember this irresistible catastrophe in its mythological and theological sources as Noah's flood. Volcanoes began erupting one after another during the same period. Magma became active, and the sky was covered with ash, steam, and dense gases. Earthquakes followed one another, mountains collapsed in some regions, and the surface of Earth seemed to become constantly active, like an enormous living creature attempting to cast off everything living upon it. While a large portion of humanity perished during this process, small surviving communities sought to live within a new world by taking shelter in caves, high mountains, and regions the water could not reach. Because the general orbital balance of the solar system had also been disrupted, more complex changes were occurring in Earth's own axis and orbit. The planets were affecting one another's gravitational fields in different ways. The remnants of Tiamat moving throughout the system were creating new possibilities for collisions, and the risk of the solar system becoming completely unstable in the long term was growing. It was at this point that the intervention of the Galactic Federation within the narrative ceased for the first time to be merely an attempt to stop a war and became an operation to ensure the survival of an entire star system. The Federation's objective was no longer to bring Tiamat back or restore the solar system to its former state. A more specialized stabilizing mechanism was needed for Earth. A structure had to be created that would both stabilize the planet's new mass distribution, keep its axial movements under control, and ensure that Earth remained in a safe position within the solar system's new orbital arrangement. Moreover, there were still surviving humans on Earth, and it was impossible to completely abandon the planet if they were to adapt to the new world. It was precisely during this period that a massive Andromeda biosphere ship, heavily damaged in the war, was brought into Earth's orbit. A significant portion of its systems used for warfare had been disabled. Its interior sections had been largely evacuated, and the ship had been transformed from a warcraft into an enormous stabilizing structure that could be used around Earth. Thousands of years later, humanity would call this artificial satellite the Moon. However, it could not simply be left in the sky as a metallic structure. If the surviving humans on Earth saw an enormous spacecraft in their orbit, they could understand that it was not a natural celestial body, and therefore, an advanced projection system was activated to conceal the ship's surface. Covering the ship's actual surface, this system created, when viewed from a distance, the image of a natural satellite, covered in craters and colored silver, preventing not only the human eye, but also the limited observational instruments of the time from recognizing the true nature of the structure. The Moon's purpose was not merely to balance Earth's orbit as a counterweight. The energy systems within the ship were reorganized. Structures capable of interacting with Earth's magnetic field were installed, and an etheric shield and matrix network were created around the planet. The purpose of this system was to maintain Earth's geological and electromagnetic balance through specific energy frequencies emitted from the Moon's surface and internal structure. This is also the source of the radiation fields that the scientific world today identifies as the Van Allen radiation belts. The Moon also has a far more esoteric purpose beyond physically stabilizing Earth. Before Tiamat's destruction, human consciousness was far broader than the limits we know today. Human consciousness existed at a level where it could establish more direct connections with different dimensions and perceive higher frequencies of reality. Following the catastrophe, both a physical and conscious restructuring was carried out, and the active reactors within the moon were operated in a way that would help keep humanity within a specific frequency range. Thus, humans were not only forced to adapt to the physical conditions of the new Earth, but also began living within an invisible boundary that made it more difficult for them to access their own past and origins. The moon is not merely an object in the night sky. It is the only living witness of the great cosmic catastrophe said to have occurred approximately 13,000 years ago, after which the order we know was established. Earth continued to live after all these changes, and the moon began orbiting around it. Generations passed, kingdoms were established, empires collapsed, languages changed, people associated the sky with different gods, and eventually modern science emerged. Yet throughout all these changes, the moon was always there. Whatever possibility comes to pass, humanity's habit of looking toward the sky will not change. We will continue to look at the stars, think about lost worlds, and question where we came from. Perhaps the real answer is hidden somewhere among all these teachings. Not in the deep blue oceans of Tiamat, in the submerged remnants of Atlantis, in the dried up valleys of Mars, in Earth's ancient flood stories, or on the surface of the moon, silently resting above us at night, but within the human mind that seeks to bring all these fragments together. Because the first step toward rediscovering a forgotten past is not knowing with certainty that it existed, but having the courage to ask questions about it. This is the truth. We are the heirs of a galactic war and a forgotten tragedy, living in a world washed by the tears of Tiamat, beneath the projection of an enormous spacecraft in the sky. Ancient civilizations swallowed by the waters, the oceans of Tiamat pouring down from the sky, and the silver guardian revolving above your head. And now, as those frequencies weaken and the illusion of the matrix begins to tear apart, humanity is finally awakening from its sleep, beginning to remember once again its true origins, that deep blue home beyond the sky, the lost planet Tiamat, and the truth of the universe. Now turn your head towards the sky once again and look carefully at the moon. Can you see everything that happened come alive before your eyes?